Dear students, we have started the first topic. Is it audible to all of you? Okay. So we have started the first topic, that is general principles of Indian Contract Act of 1872. So in the last class, we have discussed about definition of business law, what business law is. We have discussed about the scope of mercantile law or business law, main sources of business law, and then we have seen about law of a contract. What contract is according to the Indian Contract Act of 1872, what it says, that also we have seen. And contract as per section 2, subsection H of Indian Contract Act of 1872, the definition of the contract also we have seen. The types of agreement, there are two types, social agreement and legal agreement, that also we have studied. And then the meaning as per the contract act, what contract is, agreement is, enforceability is, that we have seen. Today we will see about essentials of a valid contract. If you want to do a valid contract, there are certain essential elements which should be present in a contract. If these all essential elements are present in the contract, then only a contract will be valid or the contract will be accepted. If any of these essential, if it is not present in the contract will not be enforceable in the court of law, or the contract will become void. It is not accepted in the court of law. So what are those essential elements which will make a contract valid? Those are various different types of essential elements. Those are like offer and acceptance, legal obligations, lawful consideration, capacity of the parties, free consent, lawful object, in writing and registration, certainty of the terms, possibility of performance, not expressly declared as void. If these all essentials what I have told you right now, if these are present in a contract, then only a contract can become valid, or else the contract will become as. Okay, there are certain essentials of a valid contract. What are those essentials? Let us see one by one. First is offer and acceptance. When you do an agreement, there should be two important parties. First is offerer and second is offeree. In simple words, there should be buyer and a seller. Right? When you buy a car or when you buy a bicycle, some party should be there who should be ready to sell you car or sell you bicycle, and you should be ready to pay them cash. So both the parties, when they are present, then only a valid contract will come into existence. If you see example of this, offers one person will offer to sell a car, or A offers to sell a car to B. Here two parties are there, A and B. Now when two parties are there, that means offerer is also there, acceptance is also there. Then a contract can be found, or the contract can be made, valid contract can be prepared. So this is the first important essential. Similarly, second is legal obligation. The contract what you are doing, it should be legally made or it should be legally accepted by law. If the contract is creating a social relationship between the parties, then it will not form a valid contract. Right? Somebody has invited someone for a dinner or a lunch. So that will not form a legal binding or a legal duty, because it is just a social invitation. If somebody wants to sell a car or if somebody wants to sell a house, it becomes a legal obligation. So to make a contract, the second important essential is, after offer and acceptance, the second important is there should be a legal obligation. The contract has to be accepted by law. The agreement has to be accepted by law. So that is the second important essential. Third is lawful consideration. The consideration, the word consideration means it something in return. Right? In terms of law, we call it as quid pro quo, which means something in return. In return, what you are getting, it should be lawful. Right? If somebody is giving cash and in return you are getting drugs, or in return you are getting something which is not permitted by law, hence that particular contract will not be valid, because there is no lawful consideration. Right? If you sell a thing which are permitted by law and the things you are getting in return is lawful, and the things what you are giving in return, that is also lawful, there you can do a valid contract, right? Lawful consideration means both the parties what you are doing or the consideration what you are paying in return should be lawful. Then capacity of the party is the next essential, right? Capacity of the party means what? The parties who are entering into the contract, they should be capable of entering into a contract. As per Indian Contract Act of 1870, every person is eligible to enter into a contract, but they have told certain persons who are not competent to enter into a contract. Those persons are minor, right? A minor is a person who doesn't have a capacity to enter into a contract. Now, who is a minor? A person who is below 18 years of age, right? A minor has been said in Indian Majority Act of 1875. A person who is below 18 years of age is called as a minor, and a minor cannot enter into a valid contract. He is the first person who is not capable of entering. Second is unsound mind, all right? A person who is unsound, who cannot take a rational decision, what is good for him, what is bad for him, that rational decision cannot be taken by that particular person. Such unsound mind person is also disqualified from entering into a contract, right? He is entering into a contract. Third is persons disqualified by law. Law has disqualified certain persons, they cannot enter into a valid contract, like insolvent is there, bankrupt is there, right? Or alien enemy is there. So those all persons are there who are disqualified from entering into a contract. So in general, any person can enter into a contract, but these persons what I have told, they cannot enter into a valid contract, right? Next is free consent. The consent what you are getting, consent means assent. When somebody is agreeing to your contract, they agree freely. They should not agree to the contract forcibly, or they should not agree to a contract by some pressure. If it is done, if the contents, the consent or assent, if it is obtained forcibly, whether the pressure is involved, in that case, valid contract will not come into existence. How can you do a consent forcibly? There are various types which law has told. Either you can do it by coercion, undue influence, fraud, or a misrepresentation. Right? Somebody has done some uh, contract and he has made someone to enter forcibly. Right? He has told that if you don't enter into a contract, he will kill you. He will destroy your property. Right? He will kidnap your children. By fearing to these all things, there is a physical pressure involved in this. A person will enter into a contract, right? Free willingness is not there, free consent is not there. Even after free consent is not there, free assent is not there, willingness is not there, even though he is entering into a contract, but valid contract will not come into existence, right? The consent what you are obtaining should be freely obtained, freely a person should be entered into a contract. Then the object of the contract should be lawful. The contract why we are doing, right? The object ultimately, if it is opposed to public policy, if your contract object is such that you want to do something bad for the society, or you want to do a thing which will spoil the youth nation, so your object is not good, in that case the contract will not become valid contract. Like somebody is doing gambling, somebody is doing wants to start a illegal casino, drugs if he is doing, so ultimately your object is not good. You are doing a contract, offer is there, acceptance is there, consideration is there, everything are present in a contract, but your object is not good. When object is not correct or object is not lawful, valid contract will not come into picture or existence. Similarly, contract has to be done by writing and registration. Orally if you are doing, the court will not accept it. Suppose tomorrow if some dispute happens between you and your other party, offerer and buyer and a seller, if some dispute happens, so there should be some evidence to show to the court that this is the evidence, right? To show the evidence to the court, the contract has to be in writing, registration, notary, signatures of the parties, every legal procedure has to be followed to make it a valid contract, right? Just orally you can't do it. In writing, registration, notary, every important document what are required have to be done by the parties. Then certainty of the contract. The contract what you are doing, it has to be certain. If the contract is uncertain, right, the contract will not come into existence, right? The term should be certain. You should specify it. Suppose one buyer is there, one seller is there. He is having two horses. One is black horse and second is white horse. Now he wants to sell that horse to his friend. He is thinking that he wants to sell white horse, and his friend is thinking that he wants to sell black horse. So here,
Your voice is not coming.
okay, as I was telling about certainty of the terms. When the party wants to sell, your friend wants to sell white horse and you want to buy black horse, right? So here certainty is not there. When you are selling it, you should specify that which particular product you are selling. When certainty is not there, the contract will not come into existence. Similarly, possibility of performance. The agreement or a contract what you are doing, it should be possible to perform. If the contract is impossible to perform, you cannot do a valid contract. Remember, the contract should be possible to perform, right? If it is impossible to perform a contract, if you are doing such contract will not come into existence, right? Somebody has told a contract or made a contract that he will discover a treasury by magic. By a magic, somebody will discover a treasury, or he will bring some thousands or some lakhs of gold. It is not possible to do it. Now those type of a contracts are void, because those are not possible to perform. So these are essential elements you have to remember. What are those? The essential elements are offer and acceptance, legal obligations, lawful consideration, capacity of the parties, free consent, lawful object in writing and registration, certainty of the terms, possibility of performance, not expressly declared as void. So these are few of the important essentials of a valid contract. Now let us go to the types of a contract or kinds of the contract. The contract is classified into three types. First is according to enforceability, second is according to formation, third is according to performance, and fourth is according to parties. Okay, now the first type is according to enforceability. In the other words, we call even it as legal validity. The contract is classified as valid contract, void contract, right? Void agreement, unenforceable contract, and illegal contract. Okay, so the valid contract is a contract which is enforceable in the court of law and which is having all the essential elements present in the contract. As per section 10, we have seen there are some 12 important essentials. So those all important essentials, if it is present in a contract, such type of a contract is called as valid contract. Such important type is called as valid contract. So now obligation, if you see, in a valid contract, all parties have a legal responsible for the performance of a contract. If one party breaches or cancels the contract, the other party may enforce it through the court of law. Because the contract is valid, both the parties are equally responsible. They will be having obligations. They have some duties. They have to perform the contract. Second type of a contract is void contract. The term void contract means where the contract is not enforceable by law in the court. A contract which is enforceable or which do not have any binding by the law. Such contracts are called as void contract. So here a contract becomes void due to some reasons, right? If it is not enforceable in the court of law, there are certain reasons which law has told. So why those are not enforceable? Because of impossibility to performance. Contract may become void because of performance when it becomes impossible. So there are various reasons. Or what are those reasons? There are reasons like if the contract becomes impossible to perform, or subsequent illegality, rejection of voidable contract, impossibility of depending events. So if any of these situations are present in a contract, such particular will become a void contract. That means it is not enforceable in the court of law or accepted in the court of law. Third is void agreement. An agreement not enforceable by law is said as void. The void agreement does not create any legal obligation between the parties, and an agreement which is void from the beginning is void agreement. So if any agreement is there, if it is void from beginning, we call it as void ab initio, void since beginning. So such agreements are called as void agreement, right? Like for example, A promises to buy a cow from B for rupees 25,000. The cow was dead. Before making an agreement itself, the cow was dead. In this case, the subject matter itself is not there. Means the thing what you are buying in consideration, the cow is not present. Hence, the agreement will become void. Contract, the agreement itself will become void. Right. Third type is voidable contract. Right. A voidable contract, it is a contract when the consent of one of the party is not free, or the consent you are obtaining through is by false mode, by forcible nature, or by doing some fraud or misrepresentation. By these things you are obtaining the consent or assent of the other party. In that case, the contract will be treated as voidable. And in voidable contract, in certain situations, even legal penalties or punishment will also be there for parties who are doing it. Right? There are examples like D forced Q to sell his car at a gunpoint. Right? A party will show a gun. Right? The seller will show a gun, or a buyer will show a gun to seller that if you don't sell your car to me for 5,000 or 10,000 rupees, then if you don't sell, I will shoot you. By fearing to death, he will enter into a contract. Such type of a contract where you are doing forcibly, your own will and wish is not there. Forcibly, either moral pressure is there or physical pressure is there. Those type of a contracts are called as the voidable contract. Right. Similarly, unenforceable contract. Right. And unenforceable contract is that contract which cannot be enforced in the court of law due to some technical defects. There are some technical defects present in a contract. Due to those technical defects, the contract will be rejected in the court of law. Like you are not done stamp duty, signatures are present, in writing you are not done, or various other documents have been not collected. Due to these all, not maintaining the proper papers, when the contract is declared as void or not enforceable, such contracts are called as unenforceable contract. Third type is legal agreements, illegal agreements. An agreement is illegal when it is performance is forbidden by law. Such an agreement can never become a contract. An agreement is illegal and void if it is forbidden by law, or is of such a nature that if it permitted, if it will become against the law. Right? If any agreement is there which is against the law, right, which is forbidden by law, strictly law has told that you cannot do such agreements, you cannot do such contract. Even if you are doing those contracts, such things are called as illegal agreements. Illegal agreements. Like for example, A gives B money to buy smuggling goods. Right? The agreement is illegal and the money cannot be recovered. Right? If your A and B have done a contract between them to do a smuggling transactions, here this contract itself will not form because agreement itself is illegal. Agreement itself is illegal. Okay, the second type of the classification of a contract is according to formation. So the first type was according to validity, the second type is according to formation. How you form a contract or how the contract is created, on the basis of that the classification is made. Formation we call, or mode of creation we call, is one and the same. There are three types. First is express contract, second is implied contract, and third is quasi contract. Express contract is one where you do a contract in orally or in writing. Right? Orally you will tell that I want to sell my car. This is also an express contract. Or in writing you will tell. In writing everything is written that we both of the party are interested to sell the car, and I am interested to get a cash of 1 lakh rupees. So this type of a contract when you are doing on a bound or a notary papers, so such contracts are also called as express contract. Express contract are those which are either done by orally or words of the mouth, or they are done by writing. Then the third is, second type is implied contract. Implied contract is that type of a contract which is not made either or writing, but they are done by conduct of parties, by situation, and by expression, right? As we can say, by the conduct of party, the course of the dealing, by situations, and by circumstances or expressions, right? Like for example, you can take A went to a restaurant and he had a cup of a tea. It is an implied contract that A will pay the bill to the restaurant, right? In this contract, if you see, neither there is express contract, neither oral contract is there nor written contract is there. When A has drank the cup of tea, that means he has entered into a contract with the restaurant that after drinking the tea, he is going to pay money to the restaurant, right? He is going to pay some 5 rupees or 10 rupees. Such type of a contract where neither orally they have done a contract, neither orally they have done nor in writing they have done. So such contracts are implied contract. Now third type is quasi contract. In quasi contract, the law imposes certain obligation under some special circumstances. It is based upon the principle of equity that a person shall not be allowed to get benefit at the cost of another, right? This is in fact not a contract. This is contractual obligation. In the absence of the contract, law will make a contract, right? Contract is not present right now, contract is not present, but this is a contractual obligation. When contract is not there, law will make a contract in the absence of the contract. Type of a contract where law is making a contract, those are called as quasi contract. Like for example, A finds the lost goods of B. A is bound legally to return the goods back to B. Like for example, somebody found the mobile phone on the road. Now, while finding the mobile phone on the road, a person will not become the owner of a mobile phone. There is a contract entered between you and that other person as per Indian Contract Act. Right? That contract is called as bailment, where you will become the bailer and the other person will become the bailee. The possession and ownership will differ. Right? So that type, the quasi contract is a contractual obligation. In the absence of law, a law will create a contract. Third, according to performance, the contract is classified as executed contract and executory contract. Executed contract is, a contract is said to be executed when both the parties have completely performed their obligation. It means that nothing remains to be done by either parties. See, executed contract means both the parties, offerer and offeree, they have performed their part of obligations. Right? Seller has sold the goods, buyer has paid the cash. Both the parties have performed their obligation. Seller's obligation is what? He has to sell the goods. Buyer's obligation is what? He has to pay the cash. So both of them, they have performed the obligation. Hence, nothing is remained to be done by the parties. Such type of a contract is called as executed contract. Now, executory contract is a contract in that something remains to be done by the parties. In other words, if you say a contract is said to be executory when both the parties to a contract have yet to perform their obligation. Right? In this, both the parties have to perform their part of the obligation. Agreement has been done. Seller has not sold the goods. Right? Physically, goods have not been transferred, and the buyer has not paid the cash. In such situation, we call this type of a contract as executory contract. Fourth type is according to parties. The contract is classified as unilateral contract and bilateral contract. Unilateral contract is a contract only one party has committed, done a commitment. In other words, it is a contract only one party is bound, but the other party chooses to be bound by it. Right? One party has performed their part of obligation, which means they have done their part of duty. The other party has not performed their part of obligation. So such contracts are unilateral contract, one-sided contract. Then bilateral contract is a contract where both the parties are bounded to perform certain duties. Right? Both the parties have not performed, and both the parties have to still perform their part of obligation. Such type of a contracts are called as bilateral contracts.